This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to create an image actually. Okay, so what image? So Docker image. Okay, so first of all, we'll have to understand a little bit in detail what is image, Docker image. So let's understand the first VM image, the one which we use to create a VM, and then we'll understand the Docker image. Okay. So here VM image contains a root file system. Yes, remember root file system, boot file system, boot file system, root file system, user file system, plus application file system. Here application file system can be multiple. These are the file system VM image contains. So boot file system means the that VM image has a kernel also. So kernel root file system, you can say example Ubuntu, okay? Ubuntu or CentOS or Fedora or something like that. Users, it can be in Linux most of the time root is default one. You can have any other user, and here you can have any apps like Java, Tomcat or something like that. So these are the, you may have this much at least in the VM image, if not applications. Okay, so these are the things which contains in the VM image. We call it also machine image, right? Machine image. So when you create a VM using VirtualBox or using AWS or Azure or something like that, you use a machine image. Okay, and machine image you have at least this one kernel plus boot file system, root file system, and at least one user. Are you getting it, all of you? Hello, hello.
Rajesh, user field system in the sense what we are defining here.
Users means, okay, I'll tell you. So root file system, let me show you again. Yesterday I had shown you. Uh, Root file system is, see that. See here. This is a root file system. See anything slash root in Linux or in Windows, root file system is my computer. This is the one root file system. And then C drive you have, program files you have. So these are the root file system. Boot file system you cannot see because kernel running in the RAM, ROM. Okay. Now what is user file system? So let me show you in the Windows itself. User file system means this one. See here. This is my user file system of Rajesh Kumar in Windows. So I have, these are the files. I'm having it and every users can see it. Are you understanding?
Okay, this is basically home directory, right?
Users home directory. So that's
Okay,
called user file system.
okay.
Now application file system, you say application, let me show you. Go to the application, some application. So I keeps usually install my application in tools directory. Here you see Apache meter, Apache JMeter. This is the file system. File system means files and directories. So you in the machine image or the VM image, you have all these kind of file systems. Okay, boot, root, users, app, and app multiple layers. So these are the file system which will contain in the VM image. Got it?
Yeah, thanks.
So examples are ISO file. Example are AMI on AWS and something like that. VM image and all. So these are the machine image, we call it a VM image. Mind it, here you have a kernel also, which is called boot file system. Now, mm, in the Docker image, that's a different. In Docker image, what you have, so you have only this one. You don't have a kernel. Yesterday I discussed, remember? So this much of only things you have. So you have a root like Ubuntu, CentOS, Fedora, Debian, Ubuntu. All this thing is a root file system plus user file system plus applications plus applications. So likewise. So you may have only in the image, you may have only this much, or you may have this much also. Okay. So let me show you here. Docker image hub. So here, look at this. These are some of popular images. So here in the Ubuntu means here you see, Ubuntu means only this much. Okay. But when you say, let's say Python. So Python means root plus user plus Python like this. When you say memcached or MySQL. So root plus user file system plus MySQL. It can be multiple application in a container also. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
So this is a image. So but still that question I have not answered. What is an image? Docker image. So guys, understand this through images. Okay. So Docker image is a collection of file system. You know that collections of collections of file system that is there. So here let me share this one. So there's one file system, there is another file system, there's another file system, there's another file system. So there's a file system and bottom will be root. So here this is the root and then plus user, plus here it can be Java, here it can be Tomcat, here it can be Apache, sorry, applications. So understand this, application to run you need a app server, Tomcat. Tomcat to run you need Java, and Java to run you need a root file system. So Docker image consists of multiple file system. Okay, so this is one image actually. Whereas they are on top of, so that when you see the hierarchy, the parent of this layer is this one, parent of this layer is this one, parent of this layer is this one. So this is the layer 0. We call it layer actually. Layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. So these all are layers actually. So here 0 means one file system, 1 means another file system, 2 means another file system. So all these 4 layers coming together and calling is as a one image actually. Okay. You can create an image, multiple image from that. So you can have one image from here also. You can create one image using this. You can create one image using this. You can create one image using this. So this image will have only this layer. This image will have a 2 layers. This image will have 3 layers, and this image will have 4 layers. So here collections of file system layered over each other, over each other. So we call it layer. Are you understanding? Let me show you. So right now I have how many images I'm having? My God, I have so many images. So this image I'm using Kubernetes actually. So my Kubernetes is running. So what I'll do, I'll use some other machines for the demo because I don't want to destroy this setup. So let me create one new machines. Okay, for Docker because my Kubernetes setup is there. No, I want to use it for some other sessions. So let me create a VM. I think this is the one, and here let me create this. Okay, so here my VM should be ready in few seconds. Here it is. Now I'm going to log in. So I'll just exit from this call because this VM I thought I'll use it, but it has a lots of setup which I don't want to spoil it. Rather than I'll have a fresh machine and you will have a fresh perspective also. So here, let me restart it. Yes, username is Ubuntu and Ubuntu, and then keys I have given it, and I'll become a root. Should run Docker as a root, and colors, and modify this one. Now because this is a new machines, I need to install the Docker also. So Docker install Ubuntu DevOps School. So this tutorial will help you quickly within a few seconds. It will get installed. Done. Yeah. Okay, so Docker is installed. Now you see that I don't have any images. Look at this. Okay. So, and Docker info if I do, where the images will be stored. So I said yesterday you have to look at this one, this directory you see, var lib docker. This is the locations where the image will be stored, layers. Okay. So can I download one image? So Docker pull httpd. So there's one image I downloaded, and you see that here 5 times pulling is happening. That means here you have a 5 layers at least, which is a data layers. That means now if I see, go to var lib docker. Now where the layers will be there. So layers will be there under this directory. Okay, overlay to directory, not this one. This will contain metadata, but the layers which I'm discussing, file system, will be inside of this directory. So go inside of this directory. See, 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, 4 layer, 5 layer. So five layers you have, 5 file system. Okay. Now, if you want to go inside that, let me see that which is having the highest size. Look at this size. This is 85 MB and this is 82. So my best guess is this is a base image, base layer, which means this one. So let's go inside this one, and you see here, go to the diff. You see here, these are the ones. So no, this is not a base layer. So you have to go back again here and get the size of it, and 82 MB. So here, go to the diff. I think this is a base layer, you see. So these are the root file system. You look at this root file system, which is this one. Okay, root file system means something like that. Here, like this. Okay, so these are the, you see, files and directories are there. Are you understanding, all of you? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now what is the things? So image is nothing but collections of file system layered over each other. Okay, whereas I talk about the VM image also, so you can correlate. So in the VM image you have a boot, but in the Docker image we don't have a boot, means kernel we don't have it. So you have root, users, applications, or applications multiple. So that's the image. Now there is a command to understand also. So let's say you want to Docker images. Oh, sorry, spelling mistake. Docker images, and I can run this command inspect. Okay, so any meta information about the inspect, you will get it here. See here, these are the layers, root file system, these are the layers. Okay, and many other information are there. You should get slowly and understand this. Right now, not required. Now there is a one more command which we have. How many times this image has been committed? Git commit, you know that, something like this also. See here. So in order to create this HTTP image which has a file layer, these many times is committed. Now if you see that the layers is created actually, that means this image which I was showing you 5 layers, it is having so many layers. See here, one layer, two, three, 15 layers, but I was saying only 5 layers. Why? So basically there's a two types of layers we have. One layer we have a data layer, and other layer we have meta layer. So data layer will have certain files and folders. For example, if you see, this is a data layer. Okay, likewise, you see, and some one more should be there. So this is a certain files are there, at least folders and files. Okay, so these layers you are able to see that 5 layers. But some layers like a 0 byte, 0 byte, 0 byte, 0 byte, there's no files, only meta is there, which is stored not in the overlay directory, which is stored in the this directory. So that is not containing a file, but during runtime some environment will be set. This is inside this one. Okay. So these many times it has been committed. How to commit and all I'll teach you. Okay. So this is something which we have. So image, these are the commands which you can run. So let me store this commands. When you want to work around, probably you can check it out. Okay, so far so good. Any questions, any doubts, guys, all of you? Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, now the question is, how do we create an image? How to create an image? Okay, so this is there are two methods are there. Method number one, using container, and method two, which we have, is a Docker file, using Docker file. So container, which I'm showing you the demo first, and then after that I'll teach you Docker file. Okay, so let's create a first project. So my manager came to me and said, Rajesh, you need to create an image. I said, okay, I will create an image. Docker image. So then he said, I said, what is the requirement? So he said base should be Ubuntu. That means root file system can be Ubuntu, but it can be CentOS also, Fedora also, Debian also, SUSE also, Kali also. 40 different flavor of Linux are there. It can be, but we are using Ubuntu. On top of that, you update the operating system. Not operating system, image, and then install Git and install Apache and copy the index.html in the web directory. Okay, so this is a simple and fat requirement. Okay, okay. Now let's say some of yours Amit or Dharmender, you guys are working this lamp stake, right? Correct now? Lamp and lamp stake, right? Hello.
Right, sir.
So what you'll do? So for example, let's say your manager will come to you and said, Dharam, let's create an image which has a Ubuntu base plus update plus install XAMPP into it, XAMPP basically, XAMPP into it, and plus configure that. So XAMPP has everything. XAMPP is application server, so it has everything, and plus applications. Okay. So that is your image. Let's say your image is DevOps school image. That means the moment you image run, you'll run the DevOps school example. Or here you have, let's say, which brand, something like this. So here this is the static page or running on Apache, Git just for faking out, and so on. So they will come up with this kind of requirement, and you need to fulfill that. So how do we create using container? So guys, are you comfortable with the requirement sort of it? One more example I can give you. Let's say you want to run any Java based applications. So Ubuntu base plus update plus Java plus Tomcat app server and then applications. And this is DevOps X software. Are you understanding all of you? Application required Tomcat, Tomcat required Java, Java required this one, and this one required this one. Make sense, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now how do we create it? So let me create one container first from Ubuntu image. So here I will go to and create an image, a container. So yesterday I showed you how to create a container. Run -itd Ubuntu. So there's a Ubuntu container, you got it. Run will do rest of the things. And you see here Docker PS. This container is running from Ubuntu. So this container I can check that first. This container, do you have Git installed? So you see here Git is not there. Correct, inside a container Git is not there. So I will log in into the container exec-it container id bin bash. I got inside a container. Now I'm inside a container. What to do? So first thing I will update it. So apt update. Okay, so this will update the container file system. Done. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to install Git. So apt get install git -y. Y means it will not prompt me for the yes, no, whatever it is. So Git is being installed inside it. See, Git is now there. Now what I need to do? I need to install Apache. So apt get install Apache 2. And here I'm installing it. Yes. See, Apache is also came. And here you see which Apache 2. See, now you want index.html. So here where should you go? So you should go to cd web directory. I forgot by the way, var www html. Correct now? Yeah, so this is the place you want index.html. So yes, you have it already. So, or you can copy it. So exit from the container and create one vi fake index.html, and here h1 welcome to Docker image session h1 and save it. And this copy the file docker cp. Using Docker, you can copy the file cp to which container? This container. And which locations? This locations. Sorry. This cp file, I have forgot that user, file name, index.html. Copy it. So now you see that you did all this work. Now this container, you have everything. This container, if you see, let's validate. This container, do you have a Git? Let me check. Docker exec. This container Git is there. Do you have Apache? Which Apache? You have it. And do you have a index.html? Yes, you have. I just now copied. So this container is the one which you have now ready for commit. All the requirement is there. So now I'm going to commit this container. So what do we do in this case? How to commit? So tell me that what should be the name of this image? Suggest me something. So Docker commit -m. Why you are committing? So I'm committing because it has Ubuntu plus it has a Git, it has update also, it has Apache also, it has index.html. What should I name this image? We decided no, which brand. So this is the container and which brand. So this is the way I'm committing. So whatever the changes I did in the container, I'm committing, and out of that I'm creating an image named with which brand. Done. And now you see that which brand image is there. If you see that I created from base Ubuntu, so Docker history and Ubuntu. How many commits we had? Almost this much. If I do history of which brand, I created one commit just now. See here, this is my commit 176 MB. So you see which brand has a file system altogether. So this has come from the Ubuntu, and this one I created. So this extra layers I created it. So this is how you create an image. Simple way using container. Are you understanding, all of you guys? All of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now this is the first method. How do we use a second method? So second method is automated method. Typically this is the method using that we create a automated image. Whatever I did in the first method, same thing you can do in the second method, but you have to create one Docker file. Let me remind you, this is a scenario. So how do we write a Docker file? So there's a Docker file has certain instruction. For example, from which will decide the base image. Who are you? Maintainer Rajesh Kumar. What you want to do inside a container? Apt get update. Same thing which you did manually, you have to do that right in Docker file. So this is the same command, I run it manually. And then copy index.html to var www.html. These are the things I did. index dot. Now this is a Docker file. Okay, so you want to set some environment variable env. You want to set something more, you can do that. So here what is happening, the advantage here is, understand that when I created a image from the container, it created only one layer. If you see that here, it created only one layer, but the Docker file will create one layer every line, mind it. So environment what? So Java home you want to set it up, and this is a TMP locations. So here you will create, you'll create, this will create one line, this will create, so 1 2 3 3 6 line will be created, 6 layers will be created, sorry. So that is a advantage. So let me do that and then I'll show you. So same thing which I did manually you should not do that, so you should automate it. So I'm creating a Docker file and here paste it, save it. Now last time I did the commit, this time I'll do the build. So Docker build hyphen t, what is image, USB brand 1, and where is the Docker file, dot means current location, enter. See, whatever I was doing manually, now this Docker will do on behalf of me by reading the Docker file. So Docker file is a reliable way to create an image. Okay. See, so Docker images, you see here, which image got created, which brand 1. And now if you see that here, this image history of this one, see that till here it was Ubuntu, and this all got committed, build build kit and all Docker file. So see, this is the 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer, 4 layer, 5 layer, 6 layer. So this is the meta layer and these all are data layers. This is again meta layer 0 bytes. Okay, so this is the automated way to create an image. So now you'll say, Rajesh, what are the other options we have? So many options are there. These are the basics one. 5 more options are there. So I'll show you one production ready Docker file. So Docker Hub Jenkins. So this is the application which is Jenkins, which runs on Java and Tomcat and all. So let me show you the Docker file. So here, and this is the Docker file. Look at this. So Jenkins required the image which is OpenJDK. So they are installing something in that. And all of you are understanding the variable use of variable, right? So variable we use to avoid the duplicate value multiple times. So if you want to set the variable in the Docker file, so you use arg. So this is the variable argument, we can call it in Docker, argument. So here you have a 6 arguments. Now this you want to use it in somewhere. So if you see that here it's being used somewhere, here it has been used dollar curly braces as a variable. So this is a way to set the arguments. See, environment variable, this is how you set it up. Again, running some commands, volumes, run, environment, run, copy, argument, environment, arguments, run, environment, run. Now, port, if you want to expose, you can use expose. And if you want to run container using the different user than root, then user, copy, and all. So these are the things you have in this is a production Docker file, and this will run. So you create a Jenkins, which is running on Java. Are you understanding, all of you? Kantaraj, Bipin, Sandhya, any questions?
Rajesh, I have a question. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned it, like the from base image we were fetching it, right? Generally, we should maintain with the thin size of the image only, right, for the base. Example. Do we need to use Alpine for the requirement, or how it is basically?
So base image, you
Okay.
don't create it. Most of the base image is created by Docker. So here, if you see, go to the hub.docker.com and search for, let's say, Ubuntu. Depends on your requirement. Okay. Or so this is hardly 170 MB. So no extra file will be there. Or let's say CentOS. Okay, this is CentOS. Or maybe Alpine also you can use it. That's not a problem. But depends on what you need actually to develop an image. Depends on that. Okay.
Okay.
So
And
which
we
version of
should, sorry.
which version you need, what inside you need, depends on that. These images are sufficient to get started, but there is a paid image also. You can buy that image, which will be scanned for the security issues and all. So that will be there also.
Okay. So which means we
Okay.
should use only the official images, not the third-party images, right?
No, no, no. You should always take the verified publishers or official image. It's for security reason. Else you probably will be having problems. So this base image you see,
Okay.
all these are base image. Ubuntu is base image, and here you see these are applications, by the way. WordPress are here. CentOS is base image. So let's stop base image. They have published it. You can use those as a base actually. Okay, these are the architecture, operating system, and all the stuff. Okay, so now we created a base image. I mean, sorry, image using Dockerfile. Now the question is, how do we share an image? I have created two image. You see here, which brand and which brand one. So how do we share my image with someone else? Okay, so before getting into the sharing part, I want to talk about two important things. One is CMD, which is a part of the Docker file, and another one is entry point. Okay. So let me show you, then I'll talk about it. So see here in this whole image, okay, Docker file, there is a one entry point. Look at this. And let me show you the Ubuntu image, the one which I used it. Ubuntu Docker Hub, and go to this, and this is the latest I use, right? And where can I see that Docker file? This is taken to the wrong locations, by the way. AMD 64-bit. Latest. Not bringing. I'm just thinking, where is that? So Dockerfile links is saying this one, but it's not taking me where. Summary. This is reference. Logs. Tree. Different. Diff. Strange actually. Okay, so go for something which is a GitHub. Okay, so this is a GitHub, and here you have a Docker file. You'll have it. D. Can't find it. Here it is. Okay, so now if you look at this Docker file from run environment, and here copy and work directory in copy. CMD is not there. Why? Okay, it's not there because of this is said. Okay, this is not right image for Ubuntu. Let me check something else. Actually, this image is a correct one, but quickly I'm not able to reach to that. So I don't want to search for it. Yeah. So just understand this. This is you have from, this is the base image, and here you have a CMD. Okay. So here you have a CMD. What is the CMD? So what is a CMD and entry point? So yesterday I taught you, I told you, let me show you one more image, which is HTTPD, the one which I use for the training. So Docker Hub, HTTPD, and this one, Dockerfile link latest. See, this is the right one. So here you have a from environment run workdir run environment and go to the bottom sections. And here you see CMD is there. So CMD, why? If you remember, let me show you here. Docker PS. See, Ubuntu container is running with a bin bash, and Docker run -d httpd. Now you see here, it's running with high HTTP. This one. See here. Why? Because of this line. See. So now the question is, what is CMD and entry point? So yesterday I told you, right? Remember, the container is running as long as your PID one is running. That is the important rules. So container is running as long as PID one is running. So the question is, what is CMD and entry point? So CMD entry point is used to set PID one for the container. Now, so then you'll say, Rajesh, you did not set the PID one here, means you did not set the CMD and entry point here, but still it was running. So if I see that here, you see Docker images, I run this image, Docker run -itd. See here, I run the which brand image and it is running, you see. So how is running? So if you don't set it up, whatever is set in the earlier things will be set. So that is the things. So what is the CMD and entry point? You should set the PID one, and you should set anything which is running, then container is running. So now the difference is, what is the difference between CMD and entry point? So there are few differences are there. I will not discuss about it in detail, but at a high level I'll tell you. But before that, I missed out one topic. So now you know that image you have a layers. So guys, it's very important thing which I missed out. So you have a multiple layer. What happens when you run the command docker run and dab, what happens? Understand this. All layers, all of these layers of that image get merged into one layer. Yes, one layer. One layer getting created, and this is a merged layer. Okay. And then this layer get mounted to the user, which I discussed yesterday. So this user get mounted to this layer. That means if you go inside this container, this user, you will see all the files which you have in this layer, and this is nothing but a merge layer of all these things. So I repeat, one important thing which I missed out: when you create a container, all the layers of the image get merged into one layer, and that layer get mounted to the user, and then one network you get it, one PID you get it, and this layer is called MNT. Yesterday I use MNT, right? So this is the layer we call it MNT, and this is one container. Okay, so now I will show you this. df-kh. Look at this. Three mounts you see, 1, 2, 3. Look at this here. Merged, merged, merge. So this layer get created when you run the container. So I'm running 3 containers, I guess. See here. Now let's say if I stop one container, docker stop and container ID. So you get only two to mount actually. Why is taking time? So two container is there, and now you see df-kh. See, two layer. This was an important concept I missed out, but yeah, coming back to the points. So what is CMD and entry point? So CMD and entry point is used to set PID1 for the container. So what is the difference? So here CMD can be replaced. Entry point cannot be replaced. What does that mean? Replaced, not replaced. Let me show you. Here guys, look at my screen. Docker run -itd Ubuntu. See here, Ubuntu has a CMD. I showed you. And now you see that this Ubuntu container is running with a bin bash. Can I replace? Ubuntu is having CMD, which I showed you. See ls. And see here, ps-a because that got killed. See here, ls. What happened? So you pass the argument, some executable. Now CMD got replaced with ls. It ran and exited. Okay. So you want to see that if you remove the D options, then you will see the logs also. See here. It ran and give you the container file system and then exited. Okay. Because ls behavior is it will run and exit, and as long as the PID1 exit, container exit. So container got exited because this one. So D, when I was adding it with a bin bash, it was running in the detach mode. Okay, so that's it can be replaced, but entry point cannot be replaced. So here in a Jenkins, I showed you, if you remember, Jenkins, here Jenkins you have entry points. So you cannot replace. For example, Docker run -d Jenkins. This is an image actually Jenkins. And here I'm passing ls. So pulling the images. And here you see here, the container run this bintini, which is a, you see here, bintini. You provide the wrong parameter to bintini, so it exited, but it ran and exit. So it could not replace. Now, if you want to run this, you see here, it's running because I did not pass the bad parameter. It could not replace. So the difference between the CMD, what is the use cases for the PID, CMD and entry point? So when you want to set the PID1 of the container, you should use one of these. Now it's up to you whether you want the user to be replaced and use the container image, then use the CMD. And if you're running some applications, then you should use the entry point because you don't want that to be replaced with. Okay. Are you understanding all of you? All of you?
And it's not mandatory though, right, Raj, for
If you
this year?
don't provide, it will take from the base image, which is CMD all the time, which is a bin bash all the time.
Okay. So you said, right, a command, so we'll set the PID to the container. So is there any use cases if we are running multiple containers? Is it best way to use it or something like that? I mean, if he is giving that, their Docker is giving the command to set the PID means some usage might be there, right? I mean,
So PID1 is which runs your container. No? So PID1 which runs your container. Without that, without setting up this one, your container will not run. So even though if you don't set it, it will come from the base image, which is bin bash. But you should set, for example, let me show you the MySQL. So Docker hub MySQL. So MySQL D will be there for the MySQL. So something like that is Oracle or what? It is Oracle. It's MySQL, yeah, MySQL. But oh, MySQL is owned by Oracle. Okay, so now they rebranded. It's okay. Anyone we click. See here. So this is taken from the Oracle Linux, but here they must be doing some replacement here. See here, entry point. So this script will run, which will run the MySQL and expose on the 3306 port. Okay, they have a CMD also. So what will happen if they have a CMD and entry point both? Understand that. So if both, then first it will run this one. Okay, and then after that it will pass as a parameter like this one. Let me show you. So docker run -d MySQL, and here docker ps. It got exited. Why it got exited? Yes, -a. See here. So it ran and got exited. Exit means running and exited. So what happened? This command it ran and exited. So I need to hold this. How do we hold this? That is a question. Let me do the IT. Nope. ITD together. Docker ps, and it's not holding. So I should ask this document how you are holding it. So go back, and now, yeah. So okay. So why they're exiting? We should troubleshoot actually. So how do we troubleshoot? So docker ps-a and see the logs. Okay. And if you see the logs, they say, hey, you have not passed the right parameter. I was not knowing actually. So these are the parameter you need to pass. Then only that it will run. It else it will not run. The command was right, parameter was not up to date. So how do we get it? So they will give you the parameter. Here it is. Okay. So what is the MySQL password and all blah blah blah. So yes, simple run. You can do this and enter this. This one. And now it should run, I guess. There it is. Some parameter was lacking, so like that. So likewise, you can set the CMD and entry point depends on the requirement. Let's say if you want XAMPP image, so Docker Hub XAMPP. Let's search for Docker Hub. Go for search for ZAMP. So XAMPP image is created already. Official is there. See here. This is a XAMPP app. So this is created by XAMPP itself. So this is the official one. So click on this. And here you have this image. There's a lack of documentation, by the way. So you can click here and pull this. So many layers you have in this image. So now what you have, XAMPP is there. You need to feed the application and create a new image out of it. So I think probably this you guys can work on it. So Amit, you can work on it. Are you understanding, all of you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here you have a XAMPP, Docker images, and here you have XAMPP. You want to run it? Let me see. Run -itd XAMPP app. And now you are running Docker. It's ps not running exited. So that is also required some parameters. See exited. So look at the logs, Docker logs. and here some environment again needed for it for running this. So this document is not up to date. So what I'll do, I'll just go for something, this is the MySQL. So click on it. This should provide the right documentation. So PHP is here, XAMPP app is here, MySQL is here. So let me do that. Docker run parameters. I'm not sure, so I'm just quickly following the someone's blog. This is the Docker image. Okay, you have to create it. And where is this command for XAMPP? So Docker run. Docker run, and this is 1 2. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so this is someone else image, but these are the kind of parameter you can pass it and get it. Okay, so let me try to run this, and this is someone else image, not official image, by the way. Now here, so those who develop an image, they will provide you a parameter to use it. Sometimes official documents are lacking, so you have to figure it out by looking their documents and all kind of things. So this is a private image, public image. It's just like people create their own image and upload it. How to upload, I'll show you in this. Just hold on first. And you see here, Docker PS. See here, XAMPP is running. And it's running, and then port number is 41061. So can we hit this? 41061, which is here. You see here, 41061. 41061. I'm getting confused. This is the one. No, another one is 80 port. Let me check. So I need to read their documentation. How do we use? But here I see. Okay, sorry. This is the 22 port, which is at SSH. 80 port means 62. This is the port, correct? So should be here. This is XAMPP. Got it, all of you?
Yeah, Raj.
So now the last topic in this is how do we share an image? So my manager got angry on me because he said, Rajesh, you said you will deliver the image in 5 minutes, this one, and now it's more than an hour or something. So what do we do? So I'm going to share an image. How do we share an image? So one of the ways to share an image using registry, Docker Hub. Okay. Most of the organizations, you will have your own private image. Okay, understand that private image. I mean private registry. So this like this, you will have your own software. I mean your own what do you call it? It's not software. Um, your own registry. Yeah, own registry. There are many softwares are there which will set up like a hub.docker.com kind of website. So I'm using public one for demo purpose, for learning purpose and stuff like that. But by the way, you can create a tarball also and share that. So for example, there is an image which you see here, which brand. So you can create a tarball docker save output, which brand dot tar, and this file you can share with people who wants this image. So this is the manual way. So this is something which you can do that also. See here, ls. there's no left space actually. So this command will create, let me do one thing, let me clean up actually, because I have got so many images, I have some disk issues. So docker ps hyphen a, my god, so many containers, so what to do? So docker stop and remove all containers DevOps school, and the commands you will find here. I'm going to stop it all the containers in one go because one by one is time consuming, and then I'm going to remove it each containers and stuff like that, because you cannot remove the image before without removing the container. That is a problem. And after that I'm going to remove all the images. I removed it for the sake of I made a mistake. I removed the image which I developed also, but it's okay, I'll develop a new image actually. Okay, so here now I have, you see here, Docker images. I have no images. So Docker run -itd Ubuntu, creating one fake container, small one, and I'll not make changes too much because I showed you how do you make the changes. So I'll create an image using Docker commit. It will be light one actually. So Docker commit demo and what, author Rajesh, and container ID and Rajesh image. So I create one lightweight image without much changes of the base image. So you see Rajesh image 77 MB. Now how do we do that? So I'm going to take a tarball. So Docker save and output rajesh.tar, okay, tar, and then Rajesh. And you see here, this is the one tarball created. Now you can copy it and to give it to someone else, and he will do what? Docker load -I and this one. So he will do that and then it get loaded to images. Okay, so that's the easiest way, but you know, manual copy is required. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share using this one, hub.docker.com. So I have accounts, anyone can get an account using the same way. I don't have to teach you how to create an account and all kind of things. So here the problem is you can only create a public repository. Public means anyone can see that. Private repository only one is allowed, I guess. Okay. So you can go and create a repository. Repository is equal to your image. Name it. What is a month today? November 2023. Okay. And see, public one is allowed, private, sorry, public multiple and private one, and create a public one. So now you see here, this is your image registry name now. So this name which you see here must match with your image name. So it's not matching. So I'll tag it Rajesh with this one. So it's created on aliases. If you see that Rajesh and this one hitting to the same image ID. So it's just aliases. I tag it, create aliases. After that, I'm going to log in. By default, it'll log in to the DevOps school, I mean hub.docker.com. So my ID is this one. Password I won't tell you. Login succeeded, and Docker push and this one. Done. Now I just pushed it. It was very minimal image. Now anyone in the whole world who wants this image, he can. It's a private view, and you can have a public view. Anyone in the whole world wants image, he will pull it. Simple. Docker pull da da da. Understood now, all of you?
Suppose if it is a private, right? We usually organizations we use the private registries, right, Rajesh?
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, if I want to share my image to another team member or whoever, another team in the same
Mm-hmm.
organization, so how we can the same way?
Yeah,
And
it will be your address like this. your server address like this.
Oh, okay.
Like this. The moment you only use the image name, that means by default it take the hub.docker.com, but here you are overriding it like this, like
Okay.
this.
So this indicate our private registry, it will push. Suppose,
Correct.
so it will be there. So if I
Right.
have login ID, I can log into the Docker with my organization given credentials. So I
Yeah.
can pull that code to my
Yeah.
Docker system.
So
Okay, good.
you will log in like this. I just did login, so default it taken. You log in like this
Okay.
and then push like that. So I have a, I think you are a part of Artifactory session also. In
Yeah.
that, if you can go to LMS and check that Artifactory demo has been recorded for that.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so guys, this is the image creation process. This is what it is, image. Created image, share the image, and these are the things you have to do it. That's the outcome of your Docker session. That means end of it, you should be able to create an image, share with your folks and teams, and they should be able to consume it. So all of you have to create an image like this. Got it, all of you? All of you?
Yes.
Any question, Rakesh, Roshan, Vipin, Sandhya, Dharmender?
No.
Okay, so you practice this. Okay, I'll share the recording in some time, 2 to 3 hours, and then you practice it. And then if you have any questions, you can put it in the group. Also, I'll share some assignments for all of you, so you can do that. Okay, guys.